joining me today is Mr. Tom Britt. He's one of the area's leading magazine and web publishers. How you doing, Tom?
Hey, George, not too bad. How's things in Pendleton?
Oh, just great, thanks. Man, there's so much going on with you over there. I don't know where to start, but first, first of all, I want to say congratulations on your new office over there and your new setup.
Yeah.
I took a tour the other day.
Yeah, let me, if you want me to, since we have some mobile technology here, I'll show you around a little bit.
Oh, man.
George, you and your folks can kind of look around. And the reason I got this office up here, I'm right in the cat seat of Geist Reservoir, which is my hometown. This is where I live.
Right.
And if you look over my shoulder, which I'll kind of see out there, there's a lake. That's Geist Reservoir, folks.
Oh, man.
So that's my office. Every day I get to wake up and come in here and look out over the lake. So it's a beautiful location. I've only been here now for a couple weeks, but it's one of those places like it's hard to believe I didn't have this office 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, it's amazing what you're doing over there. For folks who don't know or haven't heard about you yet, tell us a little bit about you. What do you do over there?
You sound like my parents at Thanksgiving. They're always like, what do you do for a living again? Sure, George. Well, as you know, I do a magazine called the Geist Community Newsletter. We started it 9 years ago, and it's a 4-color publication. It gets mailed to all the residents around Geist. And I really started that as a little side project. I always wanted to do local websites.
Right.
Like yourself. I always wanted to do kind of be a local reporter of sorts, but I had a little bit of journalism background, more of a publishing background, and so 2004 we launched the publication.
Right.
And it was wildly successful. I never in a million years would have imagined that it would take off like it did. We started out as a little black and white newsletter, and it turned color, and then it got a little bit bigger, and now we reach over 15,000 homes a month.
Right.
We actually have racks in CVS, Marsh, and Kroger. And since that was so successful, we actually expanded into Carmel about 3 years ago, and we started the @carmel.com website and the Carmel community newsletter, and that's been well received. And then earlier this spring, we started another publication on the south side. It's called the Center Grove Community Newsletter. And for those of you that have been kind of keeping up with the news, they're trying to incorporate into their own town. And a couple of the ringleaders of that town movement, Dan and Jody Veldkamp, who are brothers, actually licensed that from me, and we help them. We support them on the backside. Right. They're down there writing stories and publishing magazines, and it's going really well. And I guess part of the big news that we're going to be announcing next week, which we'll announce first here on George's show, is we're going to be doing a Fishers community newsletter.
Oh, okay.
And that's going to be launching in February, so we're going to be starting that in a couple months. So
well, I tell
lots
you,
of things happening.
When I first met you, what you told me that, like you said, to start publishing locally over at Geist, you started with a home printout sheet of paper, newsletter, and sent it around your community, and they thought, man, can we have more of this? And you was publishing at Geist.com then.
Right.
And now if I count out, you got 6 websites, plus your magazines?
Yeah, we've got, we'll have 4 magazines starting in February. We have at Zionsville.com, which we're hoping to evolve into a publication as well. And we also have one in Lawrence. We have at Lawrence.com, and that's another publication we're looking to develop sometime maybe next year or the year after. I've been in this business for a long time, and I just know that if the market's not right and if the conditions aren't quite right, don't push it. Don't force a magazine out there. Wait till it kind of comes to you. And in the case of, I learned that lesson in a hard way. 6 years ago, I started at Fishers and the Fishers magazine, but I happened to start that about 2 months right before the annexation started.
Right.
So here I am, Mr. Geist, and I'm trying to start a magazine in Fishers, and I drive my car over there, and then people just give me dirty looks. So I decided, it wasn't the right time. So now I think we've got a better timing, and we've got a little better business model than what we had before, and I think it'll be much more successful.
Now, the network sites, the at Geist, at Carmel, at Center Grove. Now, what are they about?
Well, they're all local news, much like the Pendleton Gazette. So if folks are familiar with your site, which I hope they are, we're very similar in style. We're all about local people. We try to focus on local businesses and local people and trying to get people more educated about what's happening in their backyard. One of the things I think that's been our secret ingredient, if you will, is we like to put pictures of people in our magazines. We like to localize our stories. You won't find stories about, gardening tips or what time the sun's going to come up next week, because nobody cares about that. They can get that anywhere. But if you want to find out about a local restaurant maybe that's got a new chef, or if a new business opens up, or maybe just a volunteer area that's just doing a lot of really cool things in the community, that's the kind of stuff we're looking for.
Well, I've looked at all your sites, and they're just terrific. And man, I don't know how you do it, because they're all just loaded with local news. Now, the Town Post .com, how does that fit into the picture?
It's a common question I get. Town Post started out 4 or 5 years ago as an at Geist networking site.
Okay.
And it took off. People started signing up for it. The beauty of atgeist.net back then, and what's now become Town Post, is we found that a lot of our people aren't satisfied with just reading a website. They'd like to interact with it, or be able to post a classified ad. Or we had a lot of businesses that were always sending me press releases, because we're always trying to help the local business owner. And they would always send me stuff, about an event they were doing or something like that. And so this site allowed people to sign up, and then they could actually post their own things.
Okay.
Well, it took off. I mean, I sent out an invitation to like 5 of my friends and say, hey, you guys want to check this out? And by the end of the day, I had 90 people on the site. And I was like, who are all these people? So we kind of expanded that. And what really kind of helped us with Town Post, and for those that don't know, Town Post is kind of what I call the back engine of all of our local sites. So when you post a classified ad, or you post an event or a charity fundraiser or whatever it might be on Town Post, that information is syndicated out through all of our local websites. So when you go to @Center Grove, on the sidebar, you'll see news coming from that website. At Geist, our classifieds are coming from Town Post. So that's part of the purpose of that. But what really kind of pushed it over the edge was last year when I started being on WZPL 99.5 radio.
Right.
One of the things that they were interested in that I was doing was something that was a little more citywide, not so localized to the northeast side or even Center Grove. Right. And so Town Post is what we promote on the radio, and we have ads running on the radio. My 107.9 FM is another station I'm on, and I do the community connection, the community calendar. So we encourage people to post things on Town Post calendar, and then we help them get the word out about their events. So that's been a really good partnership for us.
It really has.
Has been a nice partnership for a lot of people, be able to try to get their word out about their business.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about your radio show over there. You're kind of hooked up with a pretty neat group of people over there. Yeah,
they're a special group, and today and tomorrow has been a really special time, because they always do a Make-A-Wish radiothon. Right. And Dave Smiley and KJ and Tony and Will, they go and they put in 36 hours straight on the radio to raise money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And if you're listening to the radio, hopefully you can listen today or even tomorrow if this thing airs that soon. They'll raise a lot of money and grant a lot of wishes for kids. Okay. And that's the kind of group I hang out with every Friday. I mean, it's funny because most people know me from the Poppin' Champ song. If you listen to Smiley, it's a catchy little jingle. But, behind the scenes, they're just great people to work with and really care about the community. And they're all about local, too. They're no different than I am. They just have a different medium than I have to kind of broadcast what's happening.
Well, I tell you, they are, and they really do that. And I know you've got something you got to run off to here in just a few minutes, but there's one more thing I want to ask you about, and this is kind of a special deal that you do every year. If you can, just take a minute and tell the folks about your Geist Half Marathon, what it's about, what it does. That's coming up. I mean, you've already started announcing the marathon, right?
Right, that's right. Yeah, it's a race that we do. It's an annual race. It raises money for the local schools to help promote health and wellness. So, kind of going back in time, about 6 years ago, myself and a whole group of guys and girls around Guys kind of got together, and we started a nonprofit called the Geist Half Marathon.
Right.
And our goal was to put on an event. Now, I'm not a runner. If you look at me and say, yeah, you're not a runner. But yeah, I was actually not too far from this office on a
Right.
treadmill at the gym next door, watching these people run across this bridge outside. And I thought, how cool would that be to have an event out here where people could run around Geist? Right. And so we got a group together, and we plotted it out, and we came up with a route. We actually started up on the north end of Geist Reservoir off of Oleo, and we actually run around the reservoir and end right here at the marina.
So
and
how many people turned out for that last year?
Last year we had about 6,550 people.
What a Christmas.
And about 1,800 of those are under 18. So
wow.
A lot of those are kids.
Yeah.
And they run with their school clubs. We have running programs that we actually fund through the schools to help kids getting active after school. And it's just a great time. Next year's event is going to be on May the 18th, which is always on a Saturday. It's 2 weeks after the mini marathon.
All right.
And we encourage everybody to come out. And just so people know, we have 6,500 or so runners each year. This year's registration is 400 times ahead of where we normally are.
Wow. Okay.
400 times ahead. We're actually we're pushing 1,000 runners already. We normally only have 200-300 people by now. So registration's really ahead of schedule. So register early, you get a better price, and if we do sell out, you won't have any trouble getting rid of your bib if you decide you can't run it, or you're just not, if you're hurt or something.
Now it's got its own website too, correct?
Right. It's at geisthalf.com, and it's geisthal.com. You can go online and register. We have a 5K and a half marathon.
Okay.
The 5K is very popular. That's the race last year we expanded. I think we had 500 more people last year than we had the year before. So
okay.
It's a very popular race. You get a free shirt. This year the half marathon runners get a really nice tech shirt. It's going to be a long sleeve tech shirt. So they get some really nice clothing out of the deal, metal, food, entertainment. We'll have a band this year and something new this year. I just saw this like last week, but Budweiser is going to be bringing this thing out called the Build-A-Bar. Have you ever seen this, George? It's a 45-foot tractor trailer that converts into a mobile bar.
Wow! Oh.
So we're gonna have that thing set up. We don't know where we're gonna put it yet. But we're hoping to get that out there in the parking lot, and it should make for a good time. Well,
I tell you, it's one of the coolest things I know about in the area. What you do with the funds for that, for the schools. I don't know if you have a total from last year, but what did some of the schools receive from this marathon?
Yeah, well, last year was our best year we've had. We actually generated $70,000 for the schools.
Wow, Tom.
And so what we do with that, George, is we give a bulk of that goes to HSE schools and also to Lawrence Township schools.
Okay.
So I think it was 2 nights ago, I gave the Lawrence check to them as $30,000 we gave to Lawrence schools. They have this program called Up and Running, which is an after-school running program for the kids. And so that money is going to fund that whole program for all of next year. And we also, with HSE, we give their foundation $30,000, which I think that was last month we gave them their check. And what they do is they take requests from teachers that have health or wellness related activities that they want to do in their classrooms, and then that money is earmarked for them. And it's kind of funny. The first year we gave them, I think, $20,000 the first year in HSE, and the teachers heard about it, so they started coming up with programs that they could do in their class. And we funded everything from rowing machines to I think the student council went on some kind of a physical fitness team building thing. We funded that.
Okay.
But we fund all kinds of things in the schools. We leave it up to the foundations to figure out what's the best way to use the money. We don't want to dictate that. But we also are opening up. There's $10,000 left. So if anybody's doing the math, $70,000, we've given out 60. We've got $10,000 left. We're actually going to do a grant program, and that's going to open up after Thanksgiving. So if you're a teacher, if maybe you have a Boy Scout troop or a Girl Scout troop, and you guys want to do some kind of a fitness-related activity that you need some funding for, you can actually submit it straight to us, and we're going to make those grant requests probably the 1st of February.
Okay. Tom, I know again that you have an appointment coming up. What is the best way for folks to find out about you? Where can they go? Facebook, Twitter, website?
Yes, all of those. The best way to get a hold of me is if you just go to Facebook and just search for Tom Britt. I come right up. I'm pretty local, and I probably have a mutual friend with you already. You can just contact me that way. And if you guys want to advertise, just send me a check, and we'll figure it out later, is what I always tell people.
Well, if you don't care, I'm going to put some of these links down below this interview to help folks out to hook up with you. But congratulations again, man. You've done some cool things over there, and I think it's just getting started.
I think you're right. I hope you're right. We're pretty excited about it, and congratulations to you too. You guys you've been doing a great job over there. I watch your stuff too. I'm not just isolated here at Geist. I take tips from old George and Pendleton a lot, and I know we Facebook a lot, so keep it up over there, George.
All right, man. Have a good afternoon, and a great Thanksgiving to you and your family over there.
And same to you, George. Thank you.
All right. We'll talk to you later, Tom.
All right, George. Thanks, buddy.
Have a good one.
That was easy.